Hi guys, it's Alexandra here. I am here with my iced coffee and I want to sit down and share with you guys my plan for the next 6 months when it comes to buying and not buying beauty products and books. So I definitely would consider myself a makeup collector. I have way more makeup than any one person could ever need or use, and I have a lot of books in my collection as well. The difference for me when it comes to looking at the two collections is that obviously beauty products expire and books don't. But with that, the thing that still hits me is that I've spent money on all of those things, and if they're just sitting there in my collections not being used, if they're a beauty product not being read, if they're a book, that is essentially money that's wasted, in my opinion. You are certainly allowed to have a different opinion on that, but for me, as somebody who is looking to kind of curb extraneous spending and really tuck those dollars away for a time that's really needed, emergency situations, really building up that emergency fund, I was taking a look at my beauty collection and my book collection, and I thought, you know what, this is the perfect time to go on a no buy and a low buy for each of the collections respectively, and really focus on using up what I've already spent money on and tucking away that money I would have spent on those items and growing those collections for a rainy day. So today I want to talk to you about my no buy when it comes to beauty products and my low buy when it comes to books, and why I chose to do slightly different things for each of my collections. Alright, I am going to start with the beauty collection, and I do have my phone because there are a few things that I wrote down and I want to make sure that I share them with you today. So for my beauty collection from July 2020 through the end of the year, so the end of December, I want to go on a no buy. This will be a replacement only no buy, meaning that if I completely run out of items in that particular area, I can go buy one of that area or that item to make sure I have it in my collection if I need it. If I finish up something and I don't have any more in my collection, but I don't find that I need any more of that, then I won't buy it. But for example, like I just ran out of dry shampoo and I only have one dry shampoo in my collection, I will be buying another dry shampoo because that is something that I do use and I will want to have with me. I don't want to just go 6 months or whatever without dry shampoo because I'm on a no buy. Why do I want to do this? Well, it's pretty simple. I have accumulated so much makeup and so many beauty products in general that unless I really stop buying more and really focus in on using what I've got, there is no way in the world I will ever use up these products. And that is just wrong. Like, I bought them to use them and love them, and they keep getting pushed back in my collection because I'll bring something new in, and that new thing is the shiny object in my collection for a while until the next new thing comes in, and I'm tired of being on this bad cycle of buy it, use it for a little while, and then forget about it. I'm not that kind of person by nature. It's just sort of something that's happened over the last few years of really getting deeper into the beauty community, and I don't fault the beauty community for it because the big YouTubers, that is their job. They get PR, they review makeup, and they tell us about it, and they're meant to make it look intriguing. That is what makes them influencers, it's what makes brands want to work with them or even just send them PR. So it's not their fault. It takes us as the consumers really being critical about it and deciding what we do and do not want. And for a long time, because I had some disposable income, I just thought, well, there's no harm in buying these things and bringing them in. And I suppose there's not, but I've begun to feel very guilty about the amount of money that I've spent on beauty products that unfortunately are just sitting in my collection. I want to be the person that has a more curated collection of things that I love and use on a very regular, if not daily basis, and not just have all of these items that I might use every once in a while sitting in my collection to basically expire. And I really do want to be focusing on putting money into a rainy day fund, and I'm really looking to even start investing so that when I'm older and I'm retired that I have enough money to make sure that I am financially stable. And I know that not buying makeup is not going to do that for me, but it's a step in the right direction. And this really kind of hit me when I went through and decluttered my collection, and I decluttered so much, you guys. I think I looked at the numbers today from what I'd written down, and I decluttered like 55 lip products and 5 lip/eyeliners and 4 face and eye primers and 9 single blushes, and just the list could go on and on and on and on of the amount of stuff that I decluttered in my makeup and beauty collection. And that was appalling to me. And I realized that I just didn't need all of that. So with that being said, what are my rules for this no buy? Like I said, it's going to run from July 1st all the way through the end of December. All right, so the first rule is I will only be buying makeup items when I have completely run out of that category entirely, which I already explained, which is, I think, very helpful for me. I have a lot of items in certain categories like eyeshadows, but when it comes to things like dry shampoo, that kind of stuff, I just don't have more than one at a time, so I will need to replace them as time goes on. The second thing is that if I do receive makeup, beauty products for a birthday or for the holidays, that does not count towards my no buy. Like, I didn't purchase it, so I will gladly accept it into my collection, but it does not count against me or count as breaking a no buy. Something that I will be doing to really help me dive into my collection and remind myself of all of the wonderful things that I already have in my collection is that each month I will be doing a Shop My Stash beauty box where I will be picking out pieces from my collection from every category, putting it into a little box that will sit on my counter, and that will be where I pull my makeup from on a daily basis. At the end of the month, if I don't like something, like I've used it a ton and I just don't care for it, I'll declutter it, and then the rest of the stuff can go back into my bigger collection, and I'll pull out more products to try out the next month. All right, on to my book low buy. So this will be from July through the end of the year as well, but the difference is that I'm not doing a no buy, I'm doing a low buy. And the biggest reason for that is books do not expire, so even if I do have a book that's on my shelf for a little bit longer, I feel less bad about that because it doesn't go bad. Whereas with makeup, beauty products, eventually they go bad and it is completely money wasted. Why do I want to do this though? Well, I have very closely over the last several months, kind of starting in March, been looking at my collection. I actually decluttered about 44 books from my collection and took them to a local used bookstore. And as I looked at those books, it was so devastating to see that the vast majority of them had never been read. And I felt terrible about that, and I knew that there was nothing I could do to go back in time and make myself not spend money on those books I already had, and they deserve to go to the used bookstore because somebody else will find them and love them. But it really hit me hard that a large chunk of my collection, even after that declutter, are books that I have bought and have not read. And I don't know, I'm not somebody who's against having physical TBRs. I think that that's a good thing. I think it's fun to have books on your shelf that you haven't read but are excited to read. However, I think that I just have too high a percentage of that for my personal desires. So right now I have too many books on my shelves that I have purchased and have not picked up, and it bothers me. I would really like to get to the point where I have read the books on my shelves, and as I do a haul, I'm reading those new books that are coming in very shortly, like within a couple months time period of getting them, so that they don't sit on my shelf unread for a year or 2 years, just building up and building up and building up. Like with makeup and beauty products, I don't want to be frivolously spending anymore. I've gotten to a point in my life and in my career where I realize that every dollar that we spend needs to be thought of carefully. And if it doesn't serve a purpose, if what you're buying doesn't serve an immediate purpose, then maybe you should be waiting to buy it. And that was a hard pill to swallow for me because I am blessed to have some discretionary income and just be able to buy entertainment type items for myself, like books and makeup. But that doesn't mean that I should be spending as much on entertainment items as I do. Again, this is just a personal journey. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you guys how I'm feeling and kind of what I'm thinking as I head into this low buy and this no buy, because I've tried this before and I have to be honest, I wasn't successful with it. I think it's because I didn't feel as passionately about it then as I do now, and it's coming from this deep desire to really curb those frivolous spending habits and be a more conscientious consumer and really focus on only buying things that serve a purpose in the more immediate future. And I don't mean that I'll never buy anything just for fun, but there's no point in buying 10 books if I know I'm not going to read 6 of them for 6 months. Why don't I just buy the ones that I know I'll read right away, and I can get to those other ones when the time comes for them. So in general, I'd really like to save that extra money that I'm spending on books that are sitting on my shelves for way too long, and have that in my bank account ready to go for emergencies, or for going back to school to get a master's degree or something of that nature, instead of it just going out the window and, I don't know, not being used after it's spent. Unlike with the beauty no buy, I do have a few more specific rules for this because it was just a little easier to set more specific rules with my book low buy. The first rule is that I have to read 5 of the unread books from my collection before I can purchase another new book. I know 5 seems like a lot, but with the way that my collection stands now, I really need to take that kind of drastic step to decrease my unread books on my shelves and really only be adding new books to my collection in very, very minimal amounts over the next 6 months. Rule number 2 is that I can borrow books from the library or from the Libby app if I have a book that I want to read that is not in my collection and I'm not yet able to purchase a new book. That makes sense to me. I'm not buying anything. I'm using resources that are 100% free and available to me at any time. And it will still allow me to potentially read new books as they're being released and talk about them on my channel without getting caught up, without having to buy a ton of books, essentially. Number 3 is that any books that I buy have to be figured into my monthly entertainment budget. This is a form of entertainment for me, and I want to make sure that I am denoting it as such and not just kind of letting it be spending that slides by me and that I'm more easily able to forget about, essentially. Number 4 is books that are given for birthday or holiday gifts. They count as a part of my physical TBR, just like books that I've personally purchased with my own money, and they will be factored into like my need to read 5 books before I buy another one. I think that's only fair. Even though I didn't spend money on them, they're still sitting on my shelf and I don't want them to go unread for long periods of time. And the last one is that after August, I will be putting a hold on my Book of the Month club. I love Book of the Month, and for the first month or 2, I was keeping up with the books that I was purchasing and reading them right away, but I've already gotten backlogged on those, and I do not want to continue to spend that money on books that I'm not reading right away. I have had fun with Book of the Month, and I do have 1 credit that will come up in August because I skipped July. So I do want to use that credit. I don't want it to go to waste, but after that I will not be continuing to do the Book of the Month, at least until the start of the next year. So what's the overall goal for me with the low buy for books and the no buy for makeup? My goal is that at the end of the year, I will have tapered down my collections into something that is really meaningful, and that I am loving and utilizing all pieces of those collections, and that things that are not bringing me joy, that I don't love, will be taken from my collection, decluttered, unhauled, whatever you want to call it, and that I will be able to save money that I will be able to put away for a rainy day fund, or be able to use and put towards furthering my education with a master's degree or some kind of other degrees. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who feel the same way I do, that they've really started to look at their collections and they're feeling this desire to really pare it down and figure out how to be a more intelligent and thoughtful consumer. And I hope that if this struck a chord with you, that you will join me in this journey to becoming that, becoming a more intelligent and thoughtful consumer, and really getting our collections down to things that we enjoy and use. So I will occasionally be probably making update videos with this, but this definitely is a personal journey, so I'm not gonna, you know, make a video necessarily every month or anything like that. I'm making this video to sort of hold myself accountable, so I know I've put it out into the universe that I'm doing these things, but I hope that you guys found inspiration in this and maybe finally heard somebody else voice the thoughts and feelings that you have personally had about your collection. It does not have to be beauty and books that are making you feel this way. It could be literally anything in your life that is making you feel this way and feel like you really need to do something to change your habits regarding that thing in your life. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you will ask me about it and help keep me accountable when it comes to this large goal that I've set for my beauty collection and my book collection. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.